This is the Schmo with the pro, 8-year NFL veteran, broadcaster, cancer survivor, author Merril Hoge. Merril, how you doing today?
Good to see you, Schmo. I'm good, baby.
It's great to see you. Now, you are a very interesting man. You are a hard worker. You've been through a lot in your life. You've overcome a lot of obstacles, and now most recently you're an author talking about CTE, Brainwashed. There is a war on football. Brain injury is automatically associated with football.
Well, and there's no scientific evidence of that. That's why it set me on a journey. Quite honestly, I'm a parent. I'm a concerned parent. I've coached youth football for a long time. My son still plays football. I'm probably no different than anybody that watches you. They've seen the headlines. I need to get answers, so I went to the experts in the world, the neuropathologist, Dr. Cummings, who will probably pop in here in a second. And I really asked them, I go, what is CTE? I mean, what is it? And they would all say this, say, listen, it's a pattern that we're looking at. We don't know what causes it, and we don't know what it causes. We got cases that are in sports, and we have cases outside of sports where they never had concussions or head trauma. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why do we only hear about the ones in sports, and we have all these cases outside of sports with no concussion, no head trauma? And I'm like, that's what really sparked me to write the book, because what you see in the headlines is completely different than what the science is saying.
What's very fascinating about Merril Hoge's 8-year NFL career, he played running back, and you were forced to retire because of head trauma and because of concussions. You know, doctors said you can't play anymore, and you were forced to retire. And yet you even sued the doctor from the Chicago Bears because they didn't check you right. It was over the phone. He didn't see you in person, told you can play. There was some negligence there. People would see this as a catch-22, a lot of it, because, you know, you played, there's head trauma with you, but then now you're sticking up, some would say, for football.
Well, there's two things there. You're talking about protocol.
Yeah.
And see, protocol is different than what the science is saying, and you don't want to get that confused, and people do oftentimes get it confused. But what happened to me was I had improper care, and we needed to change that. It changed in the NFL, but that's why I went to Congress in 2009 to change it for ages 8 to 18, which we've changed that. So football is safer across the board at every level. Not just protocols, treatments, therapies that are available that parents and kids should know about. That if you have a concussion, keep in mind, you could walk out of here, trip and fall, and get a concussion. My son's first concussion, slips in the shower.
You could be in the monkey bars in the playground as a kid, you can get a concussion.
Very true. So instead of a parent being panicked about that, knowing that there's treatments and therapies for it, that's why I wrote the book, so we give them that information too to help them understand the treatments and therapies that are available that will help their kids get back to normal.
And it seems like with the media, there's this war on football going on right now. The youth football enrollment, it's going down. They're trying to, you know, we've seen things like The League of Denial as a book coming out, the movie Concussion a few years ago with Will Smith. They're doing what they can to get people to not play football as much. We heard Brett Favre, and I think you wrote about this in your book too, you know, saying he cringes about kids playing football.
Well, to me, that's somebody that's really uninformed about what's going on in football. It shouldn't be an argument between tackle or flag. It's options now. We've done a good job of creating options for kids to play at all different levels. And when you think about this state, California, you know, they're trying to ban tackle football till age 14, but you can do MMA fighting and boxing at age 8. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, those two sports were deliberately targeting your head.
The Schmo covers the UFC, and every single time these fighters go inside a cage, you're signing up for permanent head trauma. They're beating each other up until another human being, they're killing each other until another human being is pulling each other off. You don't hear the outcry in boxing and MMA, but what's very fascinating to me is that I listened to someone like Joe Rogan. He had Teddy Atlas, one of your former colleagues at ESPN, on. And a sport like boxing, just like football, it's an escape. A lot of these guys come from low-income families. And rather than get on the streets and get into drugs, they get into sports. They learn discipline, teamwork, how to face adversity.
Well, you actually hit a great point there. You know, if let's say they were to ban tackle football to age 14, you would have thousands and thousands of kids would have no access or resource to do other things. And all the things you just mentioned that give them that, it also builds hope, you know, builds character, establishes a lot of life skills that allow kids to grab their hope and do something else with their lives, and to rob them of that opportunity with no scientific evidence too, by the way. Okay. To go up there and say that playing youth football from 7 to 11 is going to cause issues down the road, no scientific evidence of that. And that's what's probably most disturbing. is they're trying to say something happens to kids playing contact sports at that age that they have no scientific evidence to prove.
So in your perfect world, right, Merril, what would you do to sustain the longevity of the sport, especially at the youth level?
Well, there's a bunch of things, and that's actually why we wrote the book, because there's a lot of things in there that will help parents understand where youth sports are or where they should be. You know, the protocols should be a part of it. Hydration, you know, how you fit equipment, how you practice, how you structure practice. If something happens, all the treatments and therapies that you can get to help your son or daughter. And if we empower ourselves with that information, then we're more excited about our kids playing sports versus taking them out of sports.
Now, call the Schmo crazy, Merril, but
You're crazy.
Okay, but I've always had this theory. It's when the game started, they didn't really have these big plastic helmets, the leather heads. What if we took away the helmets? Do you think that'd be safer? We'd really see who those headhunters are. We wouldn't see people leading with their heads and lunging. Do you think that could be a safe option, or do you think that's not plausible for a game like football?
Well, no, I think it would be a dangerous option because, now listen, helmets don't prevent concussions, but where we are with the technology today is amazing, from absorption and deflection of contact, but it protects your skull. We'd have more injuries without helmets. Helmets on there, and the way we've changed the game about that helmet is to protect you. It's not a weapon. We've changed that at all levels, and it's mandated across all levels of football. And if it's not in your youth program, then we need to change that. But even in practice, we had 2 practices a week, and I only had one 15-minute live football football event where there was live contact in 2 weeks. So we only practiced about 10 weeks out of the year anyway. So we're not playing football for 52 weeks out of the year, but taking helmets away would be a mistake. Making them better is what we have done, and that's helped the sport.
Merril Hoge over here, longtime running back. You had the records for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a running back for most receptions in a single season by a running back until LeVeon Bell broke that.
Gosh, that guy, how about him breaking that record?
Speaking of LeVeon Bell, what's your stance on his situation with the Steelers not playing this season under that franchise tag?
This is how I look at it, that you're never going to make up the $9 million you lost. You're just not. You know, now are you going to say wear and tear on your body? Yeah, you're going to. Does that mean it's going to translate into a contract that you're striving to get? You're never going to make up the $9 million.
You're never going to make up the $9 million, but he's one of the top 3 best backs in the league when he's on the field.
No doubt.
And, you know, he's got one more opportunity to get a long-term contract. So he's holding out for an opportunity to not just take care of himself, but take care of his children. You got to respect that.
Look, listen, I got no problem. Listen, it's part of a business decision and stuff like that. But you just talked about, he's got to make this money to take care of his family. Okay, you just lost $9 million. So financially, that's not speaking.
Oh, you know he makes up for it. Have endorsements off the field.
But we really don't know what was already offered to him before. See, we don't know what kind of offer, what deal was made prior to that. So we won't really know if it's a good business decision for him until he gets his deal, wherever that deal ends up being, if it was a smart move or not a smart move.
Do you think he plays football this season?
Oh, yeah. Once listen, as long as he reports to the Steelers, yeah, he'll play.
Well, he's got like less than a week now.
Yeah, well, I think he's in Pittsburgh, and I think he'll end up. And listen, it'll be great to have 2 backs on the field at the same time. People will think they'll rotate. I don't think so. I think you get them on the field together. I mean, you talk about a burden on a defense. Both those guys out there.
James Conner, another cancer survivor, man. How did you find out that you had cancer? You had some back pain, and then when you found that out, there was probably no doubt in your mind with your work ethic that you were going to overcome it.
Well, you know what? You shared a story with me. You said find a way about 3 or 4 times in your own journey. Those words have helped me live a dream and fight to live, and those words really resonated with me when I was told I had cancer. You know, my daughter inspired me, actually. She said, when I told them that, I was going to lose my hair, had to go through chemotherapy, and I was worried about dying, to be honest with you. And she said, well, Dad, you're going to have to find a way. And that changed my complete approach and attitude to how I was going to handle it. You know, dying wasn't an option. You know, being sick and tired, feeling sorry for myself, not an option. Losing my hair was still going to be an option. But that mindset changed the energy in how I attacked that because of inspiration by a 9-year-old. And those words have resonated with me in this journey. It's what drove me to write the book, give the real truth to families so that they can use it for whatever they need to help them in direction that best suits their family.
The will to survive outweighs the fear of death.
No doubt, my friend.
So everyone, this is the book, Brainwashed, Merril Hoge. You can get it everywhere. The Schmo likes the hard copies. He wants the Barnes & Nobles. No Amazon Kindle for this guy. We got a special guest here also. We got Dr. Cummings.
Now this is a real treat.
This is a real treat. He's in here. Now this
Doc.
book wouldn't be possible without Dr. Cummings.
You're exactly right, because of just the brilliant scientific work. He's a 3-board certified forensic professor, this guy.
Now, Dr. Cummings, what's your overall thoughts on this guy right here?
I love him. He's a brother. First time I talked to him, we started this process. We were going to be on the phone in a few minutes, I think we were supposed to be.
Yeah.
We talked for a couple hours. I hung up the phone. I said, I think I've known this guy my whole life. And it's really been an incredible journey, because this book is the story of 2 dads asking the same questions that every parent in this country is asking about football, and trying to answer those questions for our kids. And when I found the passion he had for the truth and for kids and for overall health and well-being, there's nobody else I want to be involved with.
What's the reception you're getting from your colleagues for the stance that you're taking?
Oh, outside of Twitter, it's been awesome.
Okay,
You know,
of course. A lot of trolls on Twitter.
A lot of trolls on Twitter. But the thing that's been great is the overwhelming majority of people in my field of neurotrauma echo everything that's in this book. They don't have a voice. So the response I've gotten professionally has been, thank God somebody said this. Thank you so much for doing this. And we're hoping this book allows people to go and say, oh, wait a minute, there are other people with other scientific research out here that's saying something different. Let's talk to them. So we're hoping that we plow the road for them and get them a voice and move on. But the response for me has been tremendous.
We're not saying, guys, that, there's no risk involved with football. When you're banging heads, you're going to have risk. You're going to get trauma. But what we're saying is there's a lot of science out there that either has not been discussed or we also don't know. Am I right on that, guys?
I think you're spot on.
And there's also a lot of ways we've tried to reduce that risk. So it isn't that the science just doesn't really know. We don't know what causes CTE and what CTE causes in a person for symptoms. But we've done a lot of great work of trying to reduce the risk of exposure of contact, particularly in youth football and kids. The rules and regulations and recommendations that are out right now are light years ahead of where I played in the 70s and 80s. So we're trying to take the risk out while we sort out the science and be proactive and do the best we can for our kids currently.
Now you're rocking BYU.
Yeah, Bo, my
your son Bo, redshirt junior, quarterback, or
yeah,
what's the deal with that position?
Well, he's a quarterback. I'm going to say that. He just had surgery on his toe, so he's going to get healthy and better. And we'll see where his next chapter goes.
Now, you're a tough guy. The Schmo competes against these pros, too. You're going to show the Schmo a thing or two in the gym, or is the Schmo going to show you a thing or two?
Let's go do some shoulder activity. He's got his bands here.
Let's go.
Let's get it on, bro.
Let's get it on. Merril Hoge. Where can you get this book again? Everywhere, huh?
Everywhere. You can go to brainwashedbook.com. We have all the science papers there, so you can actually read them just to verify the information we're giving you is in the book, and then you can buy the book there or through Amazon.
Dr. Cummings, Merril, I need your John Hancock on this bad boy over
Let's do it,
here,
baby.
all right? Let's do it.
You're going to love this, boy. Schmo. Schmo. Gosh dang, I got to help you.
He's got to help me do the knots.
Schmo, it's not. There we go, Schmo. There you go, babe.
You make that look so easy, just like your ties.
Let's go, Schmo.